Yeah. Bert, so today we're going to tackle the NFC South, and I think it's pretty obvious the Bucs are going to be winning that division, barring some kind of injury from Tom Brady. They lost some pieces, including the infamous Antonio Brown. So I don't know who's going to be freezing their feet and rapping for them during the season.
Yeah,
but
who's
they're
gonna
really
make
good.
Inspirational YouTube videos where they secretly record their coach? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? The mysteries will follow. The only thing that we do know is that there might be some competition in Carolina because Ben McAdoo and Matt Rule are teaming up, the dream team, the one we've been waiting for all of our lives. Tom Brady, watch your back.
Sports.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. I'm Jerm. With me, as always, is Bert, and we are back. New look to the show. The Divides debut increased the budget on the overlay system here at Stuff About Sports. So shout out to them for a successful debut. This Sunday, you can check them out on Fox Sports The Gambler. They will be interviewing Cliff Floyd, Mets legend, Padres legend, Marlins legend, baseball overall cool dude, man. So shout out to Cliff Floyd, shout out to the Divide, shout out to the Give Us a Shot
Shout out to us for riding coattails. I'll do that.
Hell yeah.
I
said, hey,
what's
man,
that? Another show on the network gets picked up, makes more money. We'll take some of that.
We'll take some of that. Hey, we'll definitely take some of that. It's been, in all seriousness, it's been like a hell of a ride, a hell of a journey from like just a couple of dudes on here talking sports and talking baseball and occasionally going to games and then doing live shows at Nick's Roast Beef that we had no business doing. And
A-Rod,
like all of a sudden,
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. For the
during his J-Lo days, by the way,
J-Lo's
how hard he was to pin down to do anything for the and rightfully so. I mean, you're dating and engaged to J-Lo. I mean, what else are you gonna do except just be with her 24/7? But
that's what I would.
But no, he took the time out. We had a Presidente happy hour and. Great dude, great guy. And then from there, sky's the limit,
Sky's the limit. And we'll be taking over. We'll be taking over here pretty soon on ESPN, maybe Fox Sports first, ESPN, FS1. Whoever wants to take us, we got you. If the guys over at Fox Sports The Gambler got any spots from like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., holla at your boys. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get. So. So Bert, first things first, let's get the NFC South out of the way. If I can find this overlay that I made for them in our thing, because this is live, and of course we have to be super professional here.
Yeah, and that's how you get on Fox Sports.
That is, yeah. As soon as I made our big proclamation. Anyway, so what we're expecting from the NFC South, we said at the beginning in the warm-up. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's there. He's coming back out of retirement to spurn Adam Schefter. Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah.
The team lost a couple pieces, but for the most part, they're there. The important pieces are there. Yeah. Specifically Tom Brady and the play callers, Byron Leftwich. Bruce Arians is still going to be involved, so you'll have that cachet.
I don't care if Gronk retired. You still have Godwin and Evans. Who else do you need? You have Tom Brady right there.
Yep.
And then you have arguably even two of the best receivers before Brady even got there.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Nobody can come on here in the comments and say that there's any other team that are even going to give them a run for their money. What Marcus Mariota and the Falcons? Like, get out of here.
Sorry.
Like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. The Panthers and their ultimate identity crisis of whatever it is they're trying to do with Sam Darnold. And then what do we have left? The Saints?
The Saints.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Ever since Drew Brees left, like what's happening here? You wasting perfectly good quarterbacks and here you are. So,
and Drew Brees leaving and then Jameis Winston, Sean Payton also leaving. So we'll see. I know Dennis Allen has been there as well, but is Sean Payton the glue? But I guess we'll start with the Bucs. Simple question: can Tom Brady do it again? Some will say that the Rams got lucky, some slipped coverage in the secondary cost the Bucs the game and the
Yep.
Rams to move on. You can look at the tape and see that for yourself. I'm not really confident that they would have went any further than the next round, but who knows? But Brady's always going to be, as long as Brady's the quarterback, your team is in the mix, right? Like that's. But
1,000%.
But can they win the Super Bowl though? Can they this year win it?
I don't see why not. Right? Before when he initially joined the Bucks 2-3 years ago, whenever that was, we sat here and we're just like, can he do it with them? And we knew they had the pieces, they had the strengths. At that point, I think we knew Gronk was going to come back, and we sat and we're just like, yeah, they could, but we don't know at this. And I even then I was doubting. So at this point, I'll say yes. Why can't he? And yeah, it was slipped coverage away from moving to the next round. Would he moved on from that point forward? Who's to say? Who's to say there wasn't a slipped coverage on the other end, and they would have made away with it? That's the thing about this game. But as long as you have consistent coaching and consistent Tom Brady, which no matter how old he gets, he still remains consistent. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get this type of product. And I think there were a lot of individuals that were hoping he would lose in the playoffs last year, myself included. No offense, Tom, but like, shit, give someone else a chance. For the love of God, stop being so good. Stop making me love you, Tom Brady, is what it comes down to. So yeah, why not? I certainly think that they can do it. And I also think that there's a chance Gronk will come out of his second retirement just to play a couple of games.
So it's funny you say that, because Gronk doing his second retirement also added that little caveat that if Tom Brady came a calling, he would consider coming back. Gronk, just say you don't want to. I think that was
tongue in cheek, though. I think that
not me. I think it's, hey Gronk, and I'm tired of when athletes do. They always do this. Hey, just say you don't want to do OTAs. Just say you don't want to. Just say you don't want to go to training camp or
just
go
take
to practice.
The fines and call it a day.
I mean, enough. Stop fooling us, because if the Bucs make a run and they end up 10 and whatever, 11, 12, whatever, and end up winning the division and going into the playoffs, and it's looking good, Gronk, you'll come back. Enough.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's stop that. So I just find it funny when the athletes do that. They'll say, I don't, my body can't take. You're 33. Like enough of this. Like get up and just say you don't want to go to practice. You're Gronk. They'll let you not go to practice and just move on with your day. But
yeah, but a 33 in football, especially one that, tight end position, a lot of contact there. That's old for football. Let's be honest here. And he's taken his fair share of hits, and he's had his injuries, so I get it. But yeah, look, we'll see. But no, this division is going to the Bucs. It is. I mean, honestly, and when I'm looking at the other rosters on paper, the only team that I could say could potentially would be New Orleans.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
And that's only because they have a sound defense.
Yep. Excellent defense, actually.
Yeah, Jameis. But Andy Dalton's there now too.
Well, I will say this about
charts, you got Jarvis, you got Michael Thomas. Provided Michael Thomas is healthy.
Do you have Michael Thomas?
That's the thing. I don't think we've seen a healthy Michael Thomas. He hasn't played a full season in 3 years?
Right.
So, who's now? Kamara's Kamara. You're going to get him out of him. I think it really just depends on the play calling and the quarterback, as sad as that is to say.
So the funny thing about Tampa, we'll move on to New Orleans next, but they have more Lombardi trophies than the rest of the NFC South combined, which is an hilarious stat. Tom Brady, Bert, who's been with Tampa Bay a whopping 3 seasons now, 4 seasons, somewhere around there.
This will be his third season.
Now is the longest tenured starting quarterback in the NFC South.
So sad.
He is 0-4 against those New Orleans Saints since coming to the NFC South. So let's move to those Saints. First off, Bert, did you see the black helmet?
I didn't. Do you have a picture?
I do not have a picture on me.
I have Google.
Quick Google. I'll filibuster for you. As everybody knows, the NFL has passed their rule where they're allowing teams to use more than one helmet.
Okay.
They will be wearing it with their, I believe, their color rush uniforms, which offers a deeper gold than their standard gold that they normally wear. That will be accompanying with a new black helmet. I do like the black helmet. I don't like the design in the middle of the helmet, the little Saint logos.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. I think they should have just left it blank or with standard piping down the middle. Yeah. But I get they were trying to do something different. I'm just a fan of secondary jerseys and secondary helmets. I don't understand why in the year 2022 of our Lord, where there's TVs in the refrigerators, where the NFL is a sport where we're using dirty laundry out of referees' pockets to challenge plays and call flags, that they're only keeping us to one helmet. Teams should have as many helmets as they want as long as they're approved. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, there's TVs in the fridge, but we can't get instant replay on
Yeah, right.
penalties or
Yeah,
anything else. Like
that's
there's no
unbelievable.
challenges on penalties.
XFL
That
could do it with
ultimately, ironically enough, cost the Saints, or no, it was in favor of the Saints.
no, it cost the Saints
It cost the Saints the trip to the
the
Super Bowl.
Rams. Yeah, the Rams had an awful non-call defensive pass interference where the guy got cracked in the face. No call. You can't challenge that stuff, and the Saints were out of challenges anyway. But that should have been called, and the XFL would have overturned that on the field. But the NFL is not as good as the XFL. That's why I can't wait for the XFL to come back next year. Is Michael Thomas going to be back? They added Jarvis Landry. They lost Teron Armstead. I know they drafted a young wide receiver. I guess that's insurance for Michael Thomas.
It's got to be.
Jameis, I don't even know if he's ready. I don't know where he's at in his rehab. So let's say he misses the first couple games. They could struggle out the gate. Doesn't matter how good the defense is. Their offense was awful last year. I mean, they do have Andy Dalton, so I guess that's better than Taysom Hill.
It's depth, right? But I mean, as you mentioned time and time again, Andy Dalton's had a shot as past Cincinnati now. He's been in Dallas. He's been where else was he was just recently?
He was Chicago, Dallas.
Chicago, yep.
Yeah.
So he still has life in him apparently, but I mean, I think it all depends on where are they going depth wise. Like there were rumors of taking Taysom Hill out of the quarterback position altogether. And putting him somewhere else in the field. What were they saying? Tight end or wide receiver, one or the other.
Tight end, yeah. Run him as a hybrid. Apparently, it was the plan.
So I mean, let's see what happens. I always think you ruin guys when you do that to them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. If Jameis isn't the guy, I don't think Andy Dalton is. I mean, you've said it yourself in the expression. It's Andy Dalton's disease. Like he's serviceable. Is he going to take you there? Nope. Is he going to take you there in the same division as Tom Brady? Hell no. Yeah. Absolutely not. He couldn't even be that guy for the NFC East.
Oh my
Lord. Terrible NFC East.
Oh my Lord.
So, I mean, the defense is what's going to keep him in it. If the offense clicks and Jameis is actually good this year, I think it could work. But it also depends on what Michael Thomas you're going to get. Carolina,
if you
Atlanta,
get him at all.
Yeah, Atlanta. We don't even need to talk about Atlanta. We don't.
Not really.
Do we? I mean, we can if you want to.
So the only thing I'll say about Atlanta is that they're full tank mode. They grabbed Marcus Mariota. I'm glad he got another chance, but there's nothing else going on around him. They're not ready to. The only thing they're ready to contend for is the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. Their schedule's brutal. I don't think the fans are expecting much. I mean, if you can get 4 to 6 wins out of this team, I would probably expect that. I think fans should expect that. I know the new head coach, Arthur Smith, was hyping Desmond Ridder up. I don't know if Desmond Ridder is going to be the guy. It's just, they're not. This is a rebuild season.
That's any coach, to be honest with you, in a new quarterback. It is. Daniel Jones was hyped up like beyond belief. Beat writers were all about him too, saying he's the next coming of Eli Manning. So, I mean, I get it. You have Marcus. At this point, do we think Marcus Mariota is going to be the starter? Because I don't. I honestly think with the team they have and the rebuild of that organization, I think you almost, if he shows up in camp, you go with Ridder, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there's no such thing as a learning year under the quarterback regime that we have now, unless you sit behind an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady or a Matt Ryan and you learn from those guys. But as we've learned now in NFL drafts, when you take quarterbacks, you put them right out there. There's none of that Eli Manning learning from Kurt Warner that happened with the Giants or any of that anymore. It's just not happening, because if you look at the Bucs and you look at Green Bay, the backups have been in the NFL a while. So there's no learning there. There is no Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre type thing. There is no Tom Brady behind Drew Bledsoe. So I honestly think you go with Desmond, unless he just has an awful camp.
Yeah, I at this point, and I feel bad, Marcus Mariota, because he's clearly the bridge. You're absolutely right. You draft a quarterback early in the rounds, early in the draft, and you play him. If he's good, he'll figure it out. If he looks bad, but there's things you can build upon, you're not going to win anything. So why even waste Marcus Mariota's time? But hey, who knows? Maybe Marcus Mariota will light it up and he can be the quarterback of the future. He's not that old, you know what I mean? So maybe Desmond Ridder could be insurance. Who knows? The Falcons ain't got nothing going on, so I'm with you there. Like, there's nothing to really talk about with them. Rebuild mode. let's hope they get better jerseys as well.
Yeah, even though they just got new ones. So
Carolina. I just said that
your home team,
my home state team by geography, but I keep hearing a lot about this team.
Mm-hmm.
I think the consensus, they're not expecting a lot. There's so much uncertainty. Half the people want Baker, half of them don't. I said Tom Brady is the longest tenured quarterback in the NFC South, Bert.
Yeah.
Take a wild guess who's the longest tenured head coach. Matt Rule of a full 2 years is insane.
Goodness.
That it's funny. The one team in this division that actually needed a coaching change didn't make a coaching change. Matt Rule isn't doing anything. Like, he's probably going to get fired at the end of the year. They fixed their offensive line, kinda. I mean, I guess that'll help Christian McCaffrey stay on the field. But Baker Mayfield, the quarterback situation there, Sam Darnold's not the guy. I don't care what the circumstances were. Baker Mayfield would have a career year with DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey as his weapons. They would. I think if Baker Mayfield was on this Browns team, they would be a clear cut. They would leapfrog the New Orleans Saints as the clear and by themselves number 2 team in this division and fight for a playoff spot.
You mean if Baker was on Carolina, right?
If Baker was on Carolina, I'm sorry. Yes. And that I truly believe that. I believe in Baker.
It's logic at this point, though. It's not just saying he's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, but because he is. But when Baker had weapons in Cleveland with no expectation, he produced, right? He had OBJ on one side for a little bit, and then he had Jarvis on the other side, and that's fine. But it was still him making the plays, and he took them places, right? So put him in the situation when you have a solid backfield like Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Henderson can take him there. They can. I wholeheartedly believe that. Unfortunately, I don't know why, and anybody, especially Jet fans, can tell you, Sam Darnold, better athlete than me, I'll admit it, but is he a good quarterback? No, not for what we're looking at in the NFL right now. Who knows? I mean, we thought honestly he was going to come out and do good things last year, and he did not. And you're right, Christian McCaffrey has to stay healthy, which is holding your breath for any running back in the NFL at this point. It's got to be balanced. He's got to have backups in order to take some of the load off. He can't all do it himself. They do have Matt Corral. Mm-hmm. They just drafted him in the 3rd round. We'll see what that produces in ways of Sam Darnold. But if somehow they get Baker, they could be a contender. And you're right. They would leapfrog the Saints in battling Tom Brady. For the division. So I honestly, that's where we're at with the Panthers. It's so funny. We can no pun intended, we can Monday morning quarterback this offseason all day long.
Yeah.
I obviously don't work for the Panthers front office, and neither do you. So, I mean, we don't know what their logic is in keeping what they have going on, but obviously they have sound logic, and it comes down to teams not being able to give up for what I'm assuming the Browns want for Baker. Which sucks because you're just wasting his talent. And a lot of people out there argue like he's really not that good. But when you have teams that are a Baker Mayfield away from being competitive, he's good.
I can't believe Sam Darnold is slated to be the week 1 starter for Carolina. He's one of the least productive quarterbacks I've seen that gets the most amount of attention. So there's a couple things working against Baker Mayfield in this situation, right? His contract's pretty big. And Carolina's already paying not only Sam Darnold, but they're still paying Teddy Bridgewater this final year. Mm-hmm. They're paying Cam Newton for this final year.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money is tied up into these quarterbacks. But for me, to get a Baker Mayfield, do you think the Matt Corral is going to be better than the best we've seen from Baker Mayfield so far? I can't imagine that.
No.
And so you do what you got to do, especially if you have Christian McCaffrey, who, when healthy, is probably the 3rd best, 2nd best running back.
He's in the top 3.
He's in the class picture.
You can jockey for if you want 3rd or 2nd. He's certainly not the top. Not with
so top 5 in the class picture, somewhere in the top 5, right?
Yeah,
easily. So, and he's got to be a top 5 athlete in the NFL. So you don't waste that with a Matt Corral or a Sam Darnold. You go out there and get a winner. Baker Mayfield, that's the thing that people forget. They'll look at this past year and they'll look at his fall off. But to fall off, that means you have to be up high first. And Baker Mayfield is a proven winner. He brought the damn Browns out of irrelevancy by himself, virtually. So it's an amazing situation that's happening, and we're gonna get to Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson bingo on stuff about sports. But if I'm Baker Mayfield, I would not play a snap for those Cleveland Browns, and we'll probably end up doing the NFC. What's that? The what division? AFC North. Yes, AFC North. Yep. We'll do AFC North next week so we can get Deshaun Watson and the Browns out of the way. Considering that Joe Burrow is going to win that division again.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. All right, so Bert, let's move on to, unless you have anything else for those Carolina Panthers.
God, no, you said it perfectly. And honestly, we're rooting for Baker. We want him to go to Carolina. I would love to see Carolina. I want to see teams compete against Tom Brady. I do. Like I said before, stop making me love you, Tom Brady. I can't do it.
Yeah, the guys down here on the local sports talk, there's one guy, I can't remember his name right now. He's really big on Baker Mayfield, and he's one of the very few. I think the rest of them, I think it's more about Baker's attitude than what he presents on the field. But for me, that's you take that, right? Like, that's just part of the package. Like, do you want a good quarterback or do you not want a good quarterback? So
his attitude, I don't like. He's a competitor. Is he mad that he gives sassy answers to the press every once in a while?
Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of other athletes out there that do the same thing. 100%. At least he's somewhat respectful about it. I'd rather you be a straight shooter and go from there. Now, early on in his career, year 1, year 2, when he was pulling this no handshake shit for coaches and stuff like that, it's like, dude, you haven't even been in the league a minute. Like, you have no room to wiggle or no room to talk on this one. So that I didn't agree with. But since then, I got to be honest with you, I'm like, it is what it is, and not for nothing. And we've talked about this before. A lot of times the press asks some of the stupidest questions in the world, and I don't blame athletes for giving them sassy answers and just answers where they're just like, nah, man, deal with it. So I don't care. I'd take a serviceable quarterback with a little bit of an attitude.
You reporters, just go kick rocks. Suck it. Nobody cares what you guys have to say. All right. So Bert, the Golden State Warriors defied the odds.
Did they?
The doubters and the haters came out of the woodwork earlier in the season, and they came back and won the NBA championship. They have their 4th ring. They've been to the finals 5 straight years. Not this, considering this past years, but in the past, 5 straight years. 6 out of 8 finals appearances, in the postseason record. They're a dynasty. Yeah. They're a great dynasty. Mm-hmm. They've been running things for a little bit. I want to know, Bert, who had a more impressive dynasty? Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, or Tom Brady and the New England Patriots?
It's Tom Brady. For half of his 20-year career, his very last game was the championship game, whether he won it or lose it. Plain and simple, it's Tom Brady.
Bert, that's an easy answer. It's easy to look at the 7 rings, even though he's won 6 of them, or what is it? One's 6 of them with the Patriots, one of them recently with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it's Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. One, because it's harder in basketball to make it and win a championship than it is in football.
It's harder in any other sport, to be honest.
It's harder than any other sport. Yeah. It's so in basketball, one player is decidingly more impactful than one player in football. So in this case, there's 5 on the court at a time as opposed to 11 on the field. 22 overall. Brady can't play defense, so a lot of his winning had to do with some of the great defensive stops they had to make by Teddy Bruschi and them boys, right? Richard Seymour and them boys. So, of course, the level of talent that Steph Curry had to go through, he's won 2 without Kevin Durant. He's won 2 with Kevin Durant. He's had to take a back seat. They've had to deal with injuries, but they've always remained a constant. Like I said, winning a Super Bowl is hard, but I think winning an NBA championship is harder. There's more games to play. There's more wear and tear on the body. Yes, these guys are absorbing a massive amounts of hits, but the wear and tear of running up and down the court, 48 minutes a game, what's the average time that the quarterback has to be out there? It ain't 48 minutes every game.
Well, you're just talking about winning the championship once you get to the postseason, right? I mean, you're looking at 82 games before that versus, I mean, for the large portion of Brady's career was, 14?
Yeah.
So, and once a week. And look, we're not saying that football isn't taxing on the body. It isn't.
Sure.
However, when it comes down to dynasties, I get that one person is impactful, but you have to look at the whole team. So although Tom Brady is there and he was under center, it's still coaching, it's still everything else. And for that team as a whole, whether they're led by Tom Brady or not, they still have to be the greatest dynasty. It is what it is. Now you show me, I mean, Steph in another 5-6 years or so, and if it's repeating, then yeah, he's giving Tom a run for his money. But the fact that for half of his playing career, and you can look at even the Pats alone. I mean, every single season, you knew for a fact they were not only making the playoffs, but on top of that, likelihood of going to the Super Bowl. It's just incredible. It really is.
There's been plenty of really good dynasties. You know, you think of the old Yankee 50s teams, the Celtics 60s teams. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, back in the 90s, the Detroit Red Wings, didn't they have a dynasty? No, not really.
I don't know. I know they were the dynasty. For hockey, dynasty wise, you'd probably have to go back to the 70s between the Oilers in the late 80s to like 90, and then the Islanders in Montreal. Montreal, I think it was like 73 to 79, and the Islanders shortly after that 79 to 82, 83 or something. And we're talking about individual like teams that won consecutive cups, like 2-3 in a row. Yeah, Islanders 79 to 83, Montreal 75 to 79, and then the Oilers. Since then, I mean, you could maybe Pittsburgh Penguins. They won a couple recently, and then I mean, we could see it with Tampa Bay right now. They were up 1-0. They could three-peat, which would be insane.
Let me ask you a question about Tampa Bay, because everybody wrote them off after 2 games in Colorado.
I sure as shit did.
I did too.
I mean, you put up a goose egg and you get 7 scored on you, and then to come back the night win 6-2, very impressive.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
If they come back and win the Stanley Cup, that means in 3 separate rounds in this single playoff tournament, they were down 0-2 3 separate times and won each series. Has that been done before, to your knowledge?
No.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah, to go in the whole 2 games, and especially look when they beat my Rangers, they were they came back and won 4 straight. I do agree with Frank. I'm hoping, anyways. I still think Colorado is going to do it. What scares me is the stark differential, and I've said this about my Rangers when they were playing your Hurricanes. The stark differential between Colorado at home versus what we're seeing Colorado and Tampa Bay. It is alarming. It is. And it's the same thing with the Rangers when they played Tampa Bay. They owned them at home for the first 2 games, then went to Tampa, and it's like they forgot how to play hockey. Now, I don't know if secretly, since this is happening in Florida, that the water personnel that's mixing the water bottles for the Avalanche is maybe putting some meth in there. I don't know. It is Florida, but bath salts, take your pick. But look, right now it's 1-0 Lightning at the end of first, but man, to watch Colorado play at such a fast pace in Colorado and then come and just get completely rocked. And now, I mean, it's 1-0, and I get it. Vasi's a good goalie, but they're going to have to come back out with that spark. The thing is with Colorado, they have home ice advantage. So if they play like that while they're home, they should have no problem. They're just going to have to win it in 7.
Yeah. I'm really interested in that. When it comes to the Warriors, though, maybe not in all sports, but they're definitely the best dynasty since Jordan's Bulls, and they're pretty damn close to that. 6 out of 6 for Jordan's Bulls. Again, the Warriors been there 8 times. 6 out of, and then they have 4 rings out of that. They're 4-2 in the finals.
Steph has 4.
Steph has 4 now. This was the 4th. This is the 4th ring, tying LeBron James.
Ring and first MVP, right?
First Finals MVP. I was on This Just In. I got yelled at by all his fans because I put Steph Curry in my top 10 of all time, kicking out Bill Russell. And even more egregious, I ranked LeBron James. I dared to rank LeBron James out of my top 5. But as I've said on this show, I don't put glorified journeyman in the top 5 of all time. Frank Terzio says Colorado plays fast. They have a lot of guys with the ability to put the puck in the net. That's right. They've been doing it all year. We've been saying
Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar didn't record a point until I think Cale Makar. I think he notched 2 goals during game 2, but I think those were goals number 5 and 7 on the night, if I'm not mistaken, which I could be. But the fact that those 2 individuals and Cale Makar just winning the Norris Trophy for best defenseman in the league, I mean, the fact that they didn't even score a point until late in the second game, but all the other guys were pulling together and doing it. They have firepower, man. So look, we'll see what happens. It's exciting, dude. I do like, as much as I wanted to see the Avs just pummel and dare I say sweep, I do like a good back and forth hockey because it just makes it so much more interesting.
Bert.
Yes, sir.
Your team messing up out here. Brian Cashman.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Judge, I believe, leads the league with 26. He hit his 26th home run earlier against the Rays. I think they're up 3-1. They might be up even more. 4-1 now.
Well, they're not up there. The Yanks are down 4-1.
Or the Yanks are down. So the only run was Aaron Judge's home run. So he's literally the only one doing anything.
Wait, 4-2. Stanton just scored on an error.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Brian Cashman said the team offered Judge a 7-year contract. Would have paid him $30.5 million a year.
It was
a lot of money.
It was monstrous.
However, it was. But is it monstrous?
I think it was. Was it just under what Mike Trout got paid, or slightly better than Mike Trout got paid? Because I think that's what the sticking point was. Is they were comparing him to Mike Trout.
Steve Waldman, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us, man. You're the man.
Hey, Steve.
Not sure why your name's not popping up on the thing.
It's just
that's weird. It's Facebook's been weird lately. Aaron Judge has every right to want Mike Trout money. Aaron Judge is one of the, when you think MLB today in the year 2022, where there's TVs in the fridges, year of our Lord, you think of Aaron Judge, no? He's one of the, so, and I think a lot of
New York Yankees baseball for the past 3-4 years, all you thought about is Aaron Judge. Since he came up, this large man wearing number 99, Wayne Gretzky's number, you knew his rookie season. He was going to be the next face of the Yankees. We were going through that identity crisis. Jeter was gone. We needed someone to latch onto, and here he is, this fresh-faced, athletic-looking individual, and we're like, no, he's going to be that guy. And sure as shit, he stepped at the bat and ripped his first home run, man. We're in for it. And look, injuries up and down over the past couple of years, and this year, wanting that money and turning it down, Yankee fans everywhere, myself included, said, what are you thinking, you moron? Take the money. And sure, we lashed out because we were a little bit scared. We were scared that this would happen. He bet on himself. He's leading. Yep, exactly. And now we're going to have to pay him because if we don't, it's going to hurt a lot, plain and simple.
Oh, it's going to hurt even more.
He's looking forward to going to arbitration too.
Yeah, that's happening this Friday. So I think it's a difference of whether he's going to make 20-something mil and 17 mil or somewhere in that.
21 million salary he believes he's worth this season.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So Steve Waldman says that he's not worth 500 million. I beg to differ, sir. Aaron Judge is box office. I get he may not be worth 500 million in terms of on-field production, which I'm sure if I delved into the numbers, I could probably make some comps of people who make around 500 mil. And I guarantee you Aaron Judge is in that class picture. But Aaron Judge's box office. Mike Trout is boring as a piece of cardboard. Aaron Judge was one of the faces of baseball over Mike Trout. If
Clearly you've never met charismatic pieces of cardboard before. But
charismatic. They had him doing the where they mic up the players the other day.
Yeah.
And I swear it was 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Bert, and I swear I was falling asleep, standing up, just listening to Mike Trout speak. Nobody cares about your little 3-year-old kid hitting wiffle balls in the thing. How could you make a touching Father's Day story about your son the most boring story I've ever heard in my life? It shouldn't be that way. Mike Trout somehow made it. I don't care about your son, and that's bad to say, but you did that. You did that, Mike Trout, not me. All right, sorry, Bert. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, if Waldman doesn't think that he's worth 500 million, Steve's a Met fan, right? Because I refuse to take criticism of a fan of an organization that pays a man named Bobby Bonilla every single year.
No, that's not fair.
It's fair. It's a little fair.
We finessed that.
I did, yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. The Yanks are number one in the division, right?
They are in the league.
In the league right now, right? Mm-hmm. He's leading the league in home runs. Mm-hmm. He has like a ridiculous WAR rating that they use, right? Wins above replacement rating. Yep. It's at like 29, which is like excellent. How do you not pay him? He's Aaron Judge, and now I'm going to make you even more mad because I did some research, Bert.
Oh boy!
And and I said I did my top 3 teams that Aaron Judge should go to because the Yankees aren't going to do the right thing. And these are, and not only, and these aren't dream teams. These are teams that actually will have the cap space that can actually pay him. And Bert, I went the extra mile and did teams that he actually could just slide in and fit. He's not going to replace. This is not like, this is a need. Like, these teams actually need him at his position. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for this? Number 1, the San Francisco Giants. They got the money. They need a center fielder. Glamour team. Big market for baseball.
Big market for baseball.
So, and he would absolutely be the face. Imagine the Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds passing of the bat ceremony when Aaron Judge breaks his record. Number 2, Bert. You got socks on? Because get ready to have them blown off. Those New York Metropolitans.
No.
Uncle Stevie.
No.
Come on to Queens, baby.
Never.
Come on to Queens. We have the money. We will have the need. Come on over, buddy. Come on over. And number 3, and this isn't for me. This isn't for me or you. This is for the rest of the world. This is for the Bronx. Number 3, and this is a real. The Boston Red Sox. Do it, man. Do it.
Get out of here.
They have the money. They can pay him. They need a new face. Boston. What poetic justice would it be if Aaron Judge took his talents to Beantown and said, you know what?
He'd be the most hated man in New York. I think there are Met fans that would even hate him for doing that.
Do it.
There would. It would be disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Angels or San Francisco Giants. The Angels can't even make Shohei and Mike Trout work. I don't think they would shell out the money for. Because I thought about the Dodgers, and I was
that's
like,
where you learn a lot about players too. Like, and this, I mean, this kind of goes back to like Robinson Cano days, where, you know, when he was in the Yankees, he's like, it's not about the money, it's not about the money. And then Seattle came along and opened their bag, and he was like, yeah, I'll go to Seattle, a team that wasn't even sniffing contention, nor did they have the tools to do so the years that follow. And then now look at him, you know, finally makes his way back to the New York area on the Mets, and the Mets cut him. So it's like, if Aaron Judge goes to Anaheim, LA Angels, I mean, they have the tools of being a good team, but they're not a good team. So are you chasing the money, or are you chasing to win? And I think that says a lot to me as a baseball fan and character. Now, granted, he is worth that much money. Yeah. He is. I wanted him to take it to stay with the Yankees. He bet on himself. He's doing phenomenal. So the Yankees need to pay him. They need to. If not, plenty of fans, myself included, are going to be absolutely outraged. We're going to be, and disappointed. It's just going to be, a lot of emotion. I don't think I'd be able to do a show if anything happens. Like, honestly, you'd be like, Bert, it's time to go. I'm like, no, I don't want to do the show anymore. I don't. Aaron Judge is no longer a Yankee. I don't want to do this. You know, what is life?
Specifically, if he goes to Boston.
If he goes to
and the Boston can free up the money. They would lose 2 players from their infield. Their names are escaping me right now, but they're good players. How
disgusting would he look in that jersey?
He
would look absolutely awful.
You know how you recover?
Plus, he'd have to grow a dirty beard too. Like, can you picture him in just like this patchy ass beard and those nasty red color? Like, nah, I don't.
It's a patchy beard for sure.
Yeah,
long hair, Johnny Damon style. Let me tell you, the Boston Red Sox poaching the Yankees' best player in ages would be fantastic for baseball.
If I'm a Red Sox fan, that's a boss-ass move, because no matter what happens, you can just look at Yankee fans and be like, well, where'd Aaron Judge go? Where did he go, bud? Come on.
And how do you replace a Mookie Betts who left Boston for and the Red Sox haven't spent really big money since. And obviously they didn't spend it with Mookie because he went over to
he went to LA.
To LA.
Yeah.
How do you rectify that situation?
You bring in Aaron Judge.
You bring in Aaron Judge. So I'm gonna redo my rankings. Number 1, Boston. Number 2, San Francisco, and number 3, the New York Mets. Let's do it.
I can't, man.
If he makes his way to New York Mets, that'd be great. So I'll take the Mets or the
Aaron Judge is leading pretty much all batting stats. When you look at it, 50 RBIs. Well, that's not league leading. Actually, I think Pete Alonso leading the top with that one with 65. The New York Metropolitans, Pete Alonso, Polar Bear Pete. Anthony Rizzo is shaping up for the Yanks too, man. He's on a streak.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean, league leading 20, I think what 26 home runs we're up to now with Judge. So look, he's earning his cash. He is, and as a Yankee fan, man, we got to do it. We got to pay him.
Steve said, "Why did Mike Trout stay in L.A. and took the money where he could have went elsewhere?" Because Mike Trout is the J.J. Watt of baseball. He's loyal to a fault. He's not leaving L.A. His family likes it there. Frank says, "Do you think the Giants would have a better chance of winning the World Series than the Angels?" I'm assuming he's saying with Judge.
With Judge?
Sure.
I don't see why not. I mean, but like that's one of those things you look at, like Jerm said, you look at all the players on the Angels right now, and I mean, when you have a Mike Trout and you have Shohei Ohtani, the most electrifying person in baseball right now, and granted those are only two players, but I mean, honestly, I don't know. It could be anybody, right? I mean, look, we watched the Rays last year and the year before compete with nobody's, so anything could happen. But I don't know. I'd have to look down at the rosters and see. I honestly think if an Aaron Judge went to the Giants, it'd be probably a better opportunity to win than if he went to the Angels. But he's not going anywhere, guys. He's going to stay in New York where he belongs.
Yeah. If New York's not, I would.
You'll see a grown man cry. You will. I'll lose it. I would.
He can't go.
I can't do it. No.
Yeah, I'm with you there. There's no way.
We're gonna send him this video, and he's gonna be like, "I can't do that to Bert, man.
Can't do that to my guy Bert." Yeah. Hey, Aaron Judge, don't do that, man. Just Bert, James Wiseman posted a picture of himself with the NBA trophy, like he was Kobe Bryant. Yeah. He didn't play a single minute in the season.
Nope.
Didn't play a single minute in the playoffs. He's a good player. He was just hurt. But can you call yourself a champion if you didn't play a single minute in the playoffs? Can you sit there and say, can Carson Wentz call himself a Super Bowl champion?
Carson Wentz can call him a Super. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Carson Wentz,
well, he played
by
during the
definition,
season.
is a Super Bowl champion. Wait, so did he play during the season at all?
He did. No, James Wiseman did not. That's the difference.
This whole season he didn't play?
No, he didn't play.
Then absolutely not. No.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. He could have played 30 seconds in one regular season game, and I'd still be like, all right, you kind of did your part. Now, granted, I mean, not a lot of people are going to recognize that, but not playing a single minute and then hugging a trophy and taking a picture as though you did. And I guess you can do, oh yeah, service is due from being with the team for so long and putting in the work and making players around him. But no, I'm sorry. I personally would not do that. I'd get the ring because why not? But I wouldn't be gloating about it. Because for me, it's unfinished business. Like as an athlete, I want to play, of course, in the regular season, but most definitely in playoffs. I mean, that's where your experience comes from. So, I mean, if he goes to another team and they're like, oh, he's got he's got championship experience and he didn't play a minute, then what's the point? The water boy gets a ring.
That's
so I've been trying to get on.
Yeah.
To be the water boy.
You know how much the water boys make out there?
Bertman needs to be a shirt.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
The Mets would steal Ohtani. I would love Ohtani in New York.
Yeah, he would do well in New York for sure.
That'd be great. And just not the Bronx side though. Steve Cohen has a vendetta against Marino, the owner of the Angels, for voting against him being the owner of the Mets and voting Steve Cohen electric tax. I mean, hey, he would target Ohtani because he's box office. Like that's the Mets. The Mets are part of that group. They're part of the Yankees group now. They're part of the Dodgers group now. Like, hey, we are box office, and we're going to sign the box office players, and this is how it's done. So we would go after Ohtani, whether that was true or not. And or obviously it's true, but I think even if that didn't happen, if Ohtani became available or a pending free agent, I think the Mets are always like anytime, and it's not just Ohtani, but any big name free agent that's going to become available, as we're hearing with Aaron Judge, the Mets are going to be part of that discussion now. They're going to just be that team you throw out because Steve Cohen said he's willing to spend money. So I think if a player is worth a damn, you'll probably see the Mets name pop up on Buster Only's tweets.
Yeah, I mean, so direct quote from Steve Cohen, and I saved this. This happened in November of 2020. I can make millions of people happy. I'm not trying to make money here. It's about building something for the fans. So if you think he won't spend stupid money to make sure the fans are happy, championship or not, you're sadly mistaken. Yeah,
a couple less yacht trips for him and his family. I mean, I think it's worth it for that. Bert, our hero, Brooks Koepka.
Yes.
Said, you know what, PGA Tour? Suck it. I'm out of here. Where are those terrorists at? They're giving out mad dollars.
No.
Bert, listen, we have to live in the. We live in Saudi terrorists. Now I don't want to group the Saudis with the terrorists. They're terrorists out there. I'm not saying the Saudis are terrorists, but the terrorists are funding the LIV, no question. Brooks Koepka is one of the newest top 30 players, I believe. The eighth top 30 player to say, hey, deuces PGA Tour and all your stuck up rules and all your hypocrisy. I'm going to go make some dollars because they're giving out some coin over there to play in these Saudi tournaments for the LIV, which aren't all in Saudi Arabia. I think they were just in London.
It's a wealth fund of Saudi Arabia. That's where they're getting their investment from.
Okay, so they're all over the place, but either way, it's another league. Slow every day, Bert. Somebody's going over there that's worth something. I know the PGA Tour likes to downplay some of the names that are going over there by touting the names that are still here. But every day, every week that goes by, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, these guys are going over there. And there was names on the on this last tournament that I didn't even know about. I said, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Okay, this is fun."
Yeah, they're getting paid, right? Like, why not? Golf, if you're good, you make stupid money, and if you can make even stupider money, go for it. And honestly, the PGA needed to be shook up a little bit too. A lot of people that say that the individuals that are flocking to there's reasons behind it. They're not happy with something or other. The PGA, things are going on, and I mean, you saw the PGA lose their mind about Phil Mickelson when this was first announced and everything that was behind it because, of whatever. But he's the next one to announce that he's jumping. So. It is what it is. He was quoted. The New York Post said that it's not surprising he's going. Said he only cares about the majors and finding new ways to make Bryson's life miserable. So they're saying that because Bryson DeChambeau went there, then that's why Brooksy's going. So
Frank says golf is not a sport. That's how I feel about it.
Play golf. Tell me otherwise. It is hard.
I have a theory on sports.
Oh boy.
Golf is a sport because you're scoring active points against your competition. You're not playing the field, so to speak.
Gotcha.
To me, boxing is a sport. So when I say what my definitions of what a sport is and what it's not, boxing doesn't count because there's actual points tallied, even though they're not defined. They're judged by judge basis. But anything that has a judge or you need a score from doing certain things, to me, is not a sport. It's a competition. I'm going to sound crazy, but it's the easiest example to use. But cheerleading, gymnastics, those types of things are not sports. They're competitions. You do a routine. You're not directly competing against anybody. You're just trying to do the best you can, and you get a score, and you move on, right? Diving is not a sport. It's a competition. But if you are racing by swimming against somebody else where you're winning based on your time versus somebody, that does qualify as a sport. So golf, there's a scorecard. You got to win by strokes. You're directly competing against other people in your group. So to me, now are they I'm not going to put them up top in my top 5 power rankings, right? They're not going to be in the top 3. They might be in the bottom 3 in terms of athletes with NASCAR drivers somewhere down there. But I would say that golf is definitely a sport. One that I'm really getting into nowadays. I don't know. I think it's ageism. I think as I get older, I really enjoy watching golf on TV.
It is nice, right? It's very relaxing. This just in, Aaron Judge hits his 27th home run of the year.
Wow. So what's that score looking like?
That score is looking like, my phone wants to fucking work. There we go. 4-3. So he pulled it within 1 run.
Man, he's going to look really good in a Boston Red Sox uniform.
Fuck off.
So the other thing, the PGA Tour and all these idiots out there that are saying, oh, greed will get you at the end. And 23 of the PGA sponsors do business with, you guessed it, Bert, Saudi Arabia. So,
it's a wealth nation. I get it. Like, the pay is there. There was reported that when Phil Mickelson first signed on, he was getting a 9-figure payday. It's insane. Why not? If someone's going to give me 9 figures for doing my job that I've done and I'm good at for years, then yes, I'm going. I'm sorry. There's no shame in that whatsoever. And not for nothing, people can't be mad about it. Another league popped up. If the XFL was just as successful, if not more successful than the NFL, I don't care. No one has the right to be angry about it. It's called competition. It happens all the time. Not one person owns the sport. Like, you can create new leagues. It's fine.
Um, yeah, it's not. People are claiming, oh, this is un-American and whatever,
No.
whatever.
Oh
Um,
no, more golf. Boo.
more
Like, come
golf.
on, shut up. Like, just enjoy the golf, you know?
Um, the United States #1 customer for our weapons that we develop here is, you guessed it again, Bert, Saudi Arabia.
Is
So
it?
I mean, it is. Saudi
Oh.
Arabia is our #1 customer when they buy our weapons more than any other nation in the world. So anyway, it's
Sports.
either way. The point is that like people don't know what they're mad at. Like they just get
Yeah.
mad at these golf things. They don't know anything.
Dude, that's life. Check the internet.
Yeah.
People still don't know what they're mad at. Yeah.
You guys, you idiots out there, you're just stupid. You just want to complain about something. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. Bird, Utah Jazz tried to cancel their uniform release after the overwhelming negative feedback to their newest jerseys, and Nike said, "No, it's too late.
No, yeah.
Too much production." My question is, how do you not know? These leaks came out months ago. How do you? First off, the NBA needs to fire Nike because they keep messing up their uniforms. They have way more bad uniforms than they have good ones, and
Which one are they talking about here?
these neon yellow, black.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
So
God.
they released 4 new uniforms for next year, a throwback to
Yeah.
the '90s Utah Jazz,
Love
which are
that
beautiful,
one.
beautiful
Yep.
set. And then they have these new black and white and highlighter yellow. First off,
The white
highlighter
one
yellow,
isn't terrible, right? But the black and like yellow ones, there's nothing to them.
they're basic. It doesn't make sense. And so, Utah said, "Wow, we didn't think people would hate them like this. So can we like not do this and revisit this?" And Nike said, "Nope."
Are there no more focus groups?
I don't know. I don't know how somebody just didn't say, "Hey, this sucks." Like I don't know.
How about
I
you
just,
share it with your players or I don't know, anybody else to say, I don't know, it's kind of boring. I don't what is there are there significance to the colors there? Are
I don't
these,
know.
like,
I don't know. I think
Utah
they just.
colors?
I think they were just trying to keep up with the cool kids, man.
Did
I couldn't
Mormons
tell you.
design these?
I don't know. They look like a Mormon designed them.
They do.
Highlighter yellow never works. They tried it with Atlanta years ago.
Well, I mean,
it was
highlighter
awful.
yellow in the Mormon community is probably the most exciting color out there.
It might
So
be. It might be. You get a highlighter yellow. That means the wife is available. One of them.
that means one of them.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, Nike, do better, man. Like these look like practice jerseys. These look like an AAU tournament jersey, and I'm not down with that.
I'm looking at it, dude. It's one of those things where I'm sure anybody, creative or not, who's looking at him, has to sit there and think, this wasn't a one-person decision. Nothing is anymore. So someone must have drew up, like, conceptualized it, and then to actually make it, and for multiple people, including the organization, say, yeah, let's go with that. And then once the public catches wind, they're like, what are you thinking? They're like, no, we don't want it anymore. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Frank says the best uniforms are in the NHL, hands down. I'm with you.
are.
Calgary Flames, best uniforms,
Yeah.
not only in hockey, Bert, in sports.
In sports.
Along with the Raiders.
I gotta be the city collection that MLB is coming out with. They got some good ones.
They
So
do got some
yeah.
Chicago White Sox. The South Side jerseys are
Yep.
really nice. I really like Colorado's, the one after the license plate.
Yeah,
The Angels one they just came out with.
it's
really
cool.
nice.
It's got like a throwback feel to it. I like it.
I wonder if the Yankees or the Mets are going to do a City Connect.
Man, I hope
something.
so. Like, honestly,
What would you like to see with the Yankees one? Because they're really. I didn't think that the Dodgers did a really nice all blue. I like that one.
Yeah.
It's not
the
over
Red Sox
the top.
went in like a completely different direction.
They
too.
did like a
the-
super throwback, kind of like the old
Yeah.
Philly Eagles. They went to like an old timey baseball color scheme because nobody understood what that was until like they released the story on it. And now,
Yeah.
even though I don't like it, it makes sense. So it's better than what I thought. The Mets
I don't
re-released the
know.
black jersey, but that's not their City Connect.
That's not a
just
city connect. No, you
Yeah.
need something grounded to the city that they play in. Honestly, I don't know. That's one of those things I was thinking about the other day. I was like, man, they need to do something. I don't know what it is they need to do, but I would love to see them try to mock something up. As much as I love the pinstripes and I love the gray ways, I mean, a third one would be cool to add to my collection.
So you guys already have a gray uniform. I would like to see.
Let's
I don't want to
an
see a
all-blue
black.
one, right?
I would like to see an
I
all
don't think
blue
they'll
one.
ever go black.
No,
I
they
don't.
won't.
I don't think that's more like not since the Mets did it. I can't see them doing it. But if they went like that navy blue, that'd be dope.
Navy blue and white
Yeah.
accent with the numbers. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've ever done an all blue, like maybe an all blue pinstripe. That'd be pretty dope.
Ooh.
Uh,
All right.
I am pining for a Mets to do all orange. I want the orange
Yeah.
hat. but I want like how Brooklyn does like the Coogee or the Basquiat like graffiti. Like,
Yeah.
I want like something like I want like the graffiti all orange uniform for the Mets, something dope like that.
It's got to be something grounded to Queens too, right?
Yeah.
You know, like dude, make it happen, New York. Let's go.
Make it like let's do it. Last one. Rest in peace to Ravens defensive tackle, Fox analyst Tony Saragusa, the Goose, who passed away at age 55. Today, I believe. So the rest in peace to him.
Yeah,
I just saw that right before we came on.
I didn't even see that, so that is shocking to me, to be honest with you.
I didn't read. I don't like reading into the causes of death. It doesn't really matter to me. Just 55 is young, so I can't imagine it was anything overly natural. But yeah.
He was a Jersey guy.
Yeah. Yep. Sure was. All right, let's go ahead and get Deshaun Watson bingo. 20 of the 24 civil suits were settled, Bert. My question is, actually, before we finish, I'll do that because that one's fun. How many games should Deshaun Watson get?
Suspended?
Yeah.
16.
All 16. Now, the argument that the Browns are going to make, they're going to try to make the time served argument. And they're going to say that he only deserves 4 to 6 games. Do you buy the time served argument?
No, because it's a dumb argument, right? Yes. He's diminishing the organization and he's diminishing the league. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Like, this is your job. Therefore, the league should make a like this history things. Like, this isn't there's more than just if he served time. I think that's a dumb rule. Like, what are you doing for the game? And unfortunately, he ain't doing shit but making everybody look bad.
And time served doing what? He was still out there getting massages, probably. Like, it wasn't like he was
20 of 24 are settled, which means he's paying someone to be quiet, more or less. Like, hey, listen, thanks for not taking this further. I guess we'll just agree that this is worth the damage and move on. So basically, you're admitting guilt is what it comes down to.
Mike says he didn't play. That's on him. The NFL didn't suspend him. The team said, hey, this is crazy. We got to figure something out. He decided not to come out and play. Like, no, there was no official suspension. Nope. That was the team's doing. That was like, and they never, I don't think, as far as I know, they never put him on some type of list like they do with a lot of the domestic abusers. They didn't do anything. He just was hurt, and then he just didn't play. Mm-hmm. So he should get all 16 games. You know why? Because he's a weirdo. This is all weird. He sat there and said, "Oh, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I'm innocent." And then you come out. This isn't
weird.
Settle.
It's just predatory. Like, he's not a good
borderline
dude.
Predatory.
It's just
nobody says, "Hey, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I'm innocent," and then you settle. If you were accused of misconduct with a bunch of women, I'm not settling. I don't know about you. No, I'm going to fight this. Like, no way.
If you're innocent, yeah.
If that's what I'm saying. If I'm innocent, that's what a normal innocent person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, nah, man. F these hoes, man. I didn't do this. No, like, whatever. He didn't say anything. Matter of fact, his lawyer did, and actually made it worse.
Yeah.
And then he settled at the end of all of this. So to me, something happened. That's what that means. And I've already made up my mind when the 66 people that the Texans paid for came out. I said, "Oh, this dude." I called him the diabolical masturbator not too long ago. Yeah, this guy he's a weirdo. You're not so innocent because you settled, and you still got 4 cases pending. And I don't believe in time served. It's weird because you don't have to do this. You said this, Bert, a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Deshaun Watson doesn't have to do this. What are you doing? It's just weird. All of it's weird. So I hope he gets 16 games. Calvin Ridley got 16 games for making bets. I'm pretty sure on his own team while he was hurt or whatever, or at least it was a $1,500 bet. I don't know if it was his own team, but it doesn't matter. A $1,500 bet got him 16 games.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson better get at least 16, and that's actually coming off light to me.
Hey, Ridley's not hurting anybody making that bet. His own wallet, maybe, depending if he loses. But I mean, what Deshaun Watson is doing is affecting people's livelihoods. So,
do you have a game ball to give out?
Igor Shesterkin won the Vezina Trophy for himself and the New York Rangers, and couldn't have represented the organization better. He's just an outstanding goalie. So, I mean, with one trophy comes more. He gets my game ball this week.
Is Kenan Thompson like a huge hockey fan? Why is he?
I have no idea.
Why is he doing?
When it was announced he was hosting, he was at a couple Ranger games. I think. I mean, obviously being a Saturday Night Live guy, you see him there. I don't know. The NHL Awards are the weirdest sporting award in the world for many reasons. One, I don't ever think that they should be televised in an award format. Nominate and then grant the winner. That's it. Yeah. But we have cool trophies, so I get it. You want them showcased. Why not? But when they first started doing these grand old things, I think it was like they didn't have one particular host. It was people dropping in. Matthew Perry did like a stint every once in a while, but he was a known hockey guy. And known hockey people are, like to get in there. I don't know what Keenan's deal is. I just think it was a gig, but good for him.
I guess I'm going to go. There's a couple places I want to go. You know what? I'm going with Bradley Beal, who just declined his $36 million player option to become an unrestricted free agent. So this is my shameless attempt to get Bradley Beal to come to my Philadelphia 76ers. Buddy, hey, let's go. Come to Philly, team up with Joel Embiid and James Harden and whoever, and let's win a championship. Bert, you got anything else for the people?
Good to go, man. Thanks for tuning in.
Baker Mayfield, don't become no side chick out there. Stay strong, brother. Don't let the Browns con you. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.